My in-laws threatened to never let me come back if I told another one. All right, this is a story that I've been promising my cousins I was going to tell, and it's called The Ballad of Bud and Betty, which were my parents. First, I'm going to play a little song. It was my mom's favorite, so let's hope we won't screw it up before I start. Well, thank you. My folks met for the first time in kindergarten in Van Meter, Iowa. My mother's family was more or less passing through. My grandpa Travis, my mom's maiden name, he was one of those fellas that was one of the hardest working people you ever met, unless he was drinking. And he happened to be drinking at a certain time and got himself into trouble and was, let's say, helping out the county with road construction at the particular time. And my mother was in Van Meter along with her his brother and sister and my grandma Travis. But that's not where the story starts. It starts over 100 years before that. Or about 100 years before that. I met in like 1937. In 1960, 61, we had the Civil War. Most of my family in Iowa didn't make it through the war that volunteered and went in. I have relatives buried in St. Louis, in Helena, Arkansas, Pittsburgh Landing, Shiloh, Corinth, Chattanooga, Alatoona, Georgia, and that's about the most of the ones I could figure out. But this is a story about their kids. On one side, on my mom's side, on her mother's side, her grandpa, my mother's grandpa, Lewis Miller, married Mona May Banta. Mona May Banta was the daughter of or Henry Ellsworth Banta, who was the son of that soldier that is buried near Helena, Arkansas. Now, Louisa Morgan was her mother, was his wife, and they had a son, which was L, and L married a lady from the Sandy family, which was real near St. Charles, which was close to Van Meter. And lo and behold, they had a bunch of daughters and a bunch of sons, and Mona May married Lewis, who happened to just be the son of the butcher shop owner where my great-great-grandpa L worked. So, as it turned out, my grandpa Lewis was my great-grandpa Lou Miller. My mom's named Betty Lou, by the way, after my grandpa. Grandpa Miller and his second wife actually was there, and Margaret Crandall, the second wife, actually gave birth, was the midwife for my mom. Okay. Now on the other side, we have the Cunninghams. There was a gentleman named James, and he had a passel of kids. One was named James Frank. Well, he never went by James, it was always Frank. Well, James Frank Cunningham fell in love with this lady named Rebecca Burkhardt. Now, my grandma Sheets, that was her second name after she remarried. My great-grandma Sheets on my dad's side. But at the time, anyway, let's get back to it. So anyway, we have her father, she was born in 1861. Her father enlisted and died in 1865 after the war was over, but he was still on garrison duty near Eastport, Mississippi. Eastport, Tennessee, Mississippi, it's all right there, about the same place on the Tennessee River. Anyway, that's where he's buried. And both these wives had a real tough time until they had a chance to remarry. And the soldiers' pensions were, the survivor pensions were slow to come. It took a number of years. Finally, they were able to get it. Both of them worked hard at just about anything to make lives for their kids easier. Both families moved out to Kansas, and both came back after the drought of 1879 to the Madison County and Dallas County area, which are right next to each other, near where Van Meter and St. Charles and all these places are. So, let's see. James had Frank. Frank fell in love with Rebecca, who was a daughter of a soldier killed. Mom's great-great-grandpa, L, was the son of a soldier killed in the Civil War. And I figured that had to do something with this mysterious set of circumstances that brought them together. So here they were, two kids, and we've got the picture of them standing there in the first grade and kindergarten class, because it was a small school. Van Meter, by the way, was the first school district sponsored by a city in the state of Iowa. So here they are, and we have to wait, though, another 12 years. My dad graduated a little early because it was a country school and they had to get the crops in. So he graduated a little early, and he went to work at the place called the Wakanda Country Club in Des Moines, Iowa. And it's still there today. You can still go there. It was a grand affair. At the time, Iowa was pretty much dry except for state liquor stores and clubs. So the rich people had country clubs. The not so rich people had lodges and VFWs, that sort of place. And there was a few beer parlors and things like that my Grandpa Travis frequented quite often. Incidentally, you will be, I want to, before I go any further, Grandpa Travis did stop drinking after his COPD took 2/3 of one of his lungs, and his doctor said, you take another drink of alcohol, you're going to die. So, he stopped drinking. Oh boy. Okay, so anyway, except he had Robitussin. 20% alcohol. Anyway, so, lo and behold, the fella that my dad was rooming with turned out to be a guy named Jack Green. Jack Green went to school at Lincoln High School in Des Moines with a fella named Dean Travis, my uncle, my mom's older brother. Somehow there was a connection where Dean got Albert and Betty back together again. They were able to attend a grand dance. We're not sure if it was the Lincoln High prom or a sorority dance before Wakanda Country Club burned down. And a year later, they were married. And another couple years later, my brother was born. Another year later, I was born. Another year later, my sister was born. And there we are. My brother passed away a little while ago. My folks have moved on. But I'd like to read just a little poem. I promised someone I'd read a poem, and this is a poem I wrote at my dad's service. In the autumns of our years, we're measured not by monetary wealth, nor are we measured by personal health. 'Tis rather the gift of a precious smile truly measures us in the autumn of our years. And 'tis that smile that brightened our days and made those dreary colors of fall truly shine as highlights in this, the autumn of our years. And hi to Mom and Dad, Brother Al, and all those others gone before. Thank you so much.